What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com, host of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Welcome to Lefty Cards right here on the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, discussing the latest trends, best practices, and insider tips on sports card investing. This episode is brought to you by NoOffSeason.com, the number one place to make money flipping sports cards. Get a free 30-day trial today at NoOffSeason.com. And now, everybody, it's time for Lefty Cards.
Bang! And we are back. Episode 10 of Lefty Cards at NoOffSeason.com, Sports Card Network. Check out LeftyCards.com for more of our content because we got our main man right here. We got Turner in town, TB24, Turner. I don't know what the B stands for.
It's Turner Baller 24. It's my old Xbox username from sixth grade.
Yeah, that sounds like a 6th grade email account waiting to happen, dude. Turner Baller 24.
I just kept it.
That's cool, man. Well, for those of you guys that are new to the show, welcome. This is I am Lefty McKee. This is Turner Schaus. We are going to do an episode today that we have done once before, but I'll go ahead and describe it again because it is still fairly new. We're taking a step away from our regular schedule with the kind of things that we do with Krim and with Paul and things like that. And we want to do about a monthly catch-up on what we're calling the Turner episodes. So what we do is Turner here, my lovely co-host, he's been described as an intern for me. And so then I think Connor was saying dude, he's Turner. That's so perfect. And I was like, boom, there it is. So even when he's not an intern, he might still have the word Turner in his name. But that's who he is for right now. And we want to build up this persona and paint a picture of who Turner truly is. We don't have to make up who this is in the podcasting network. Turner is fairly new to card collecting. He's within a year, I believe, of investing in general. And like most of us, has had a past of collecting and investing. And now is kind of approaching it from a more serious standpoint, hey, let's do this. Let's make some money doing this. And we thought how cool it would be for us to literally have a segment that we talked about monthly. And in this case, a show where we talked monthly about the successes and failures of what it's like when you're first starting. Because there's so many times where we can get into, hey, this is $1,000, $1,500 card that I'm going to make $500 on. And that's obtainable for some of the people in our network. But for the others in our network that are just now starting out and buying dollar cards and flipping them into $10 cards, it can seem like a stretch. So we wanted to create some content for, I'm not going to say the lower end, but I'm going to say the lower priced end of investing. And so that's what Turner really specializes in as he's building his portfolio out. And as he continues to mature, this show, I guess, will evolve. When you're not doing, this kind of content anymore, maybe we pick up another person that we've got along the way to do these kind of episodes. So Turner, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself again for the first couple of times. We're just going to keep doing that and tell us, maybe what your favorite fish is or something like that. And that's just the most random thing I could think of. So give it a shot.
So my name is Turner Schaus. I go to University called Asbury University. I just got done with my second year there. I've known Kendall since I've been in probably 6th, 7th grade, something like that. And me and Kendall connected very well whenever we went on a mission trip to Puerto Rico, summer of 2017, I want to say. So that's we're hitting 7 years now on that.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
We're steady.
Yeah. So like Kendall said, I've been in the sports card investing world for about a year now, very strongly. Just I wanted to jump in more and just take it more seriously, because it's not like I wasn't taking it seriously before, but there's a difference between being nonchalant with it and making it a part of you, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So I basically wanted to make it part of me and along the way, Kendall and I'm watching Paul's like sports card strategy shows for the past year, and me and Kendall have had many like messages, and I've had a lot of questions over the time, and I've just tried to learn, and that's how I've been Kendall's interner, is asking a bunch of questions with Kendall and getting answers and stuff like that.
And interner is a term of endearment from me. He's not getting me coffees or anything like that. Truly, we are just boys talking about sports cards. And so, Turner, you forgot to tell them what your favorite fish is, man. Oh my goodness.
My fault. I probably like salmon the best.
Are you thinking to eat?
I'm sadly gonna say that I don't actually fish a whole lot. I know that being from Kentucky, that it's kind of odd, but I
don't fish either.
I mainly just eat fish for the most part.
So I gave that as a completely open-ended question, and in my head, I was thinking, what kind of fish would he put in a fish tank? And then you were like, what kind of fish would I put in my belly?
Hey, it's dinner time. You gotta think about what you're getting to eat next.
Spoken like an athlete. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Well, for those of you guys that are rocking along with us, we appreciate you. We got Matt Lane, let's go, my man, Mark Drzinski, Mark Rubin, and then Krim, interner. Krim, I also want to say this is not an official commercial, but we talked about this right before we came on. But you got me onto these Nerds gummy clusters, and I just finished this bag. But as Turner would say, these are gas, my friend.
Yes.
So sponsored by Nerds gummy clusters here at Lefty Cards. I'm glad you're here. Joel Kaplan, appreciate you, man. We appreciate you guys, and hopefully that you guys can feel free to ask questions during these kind of episodes as well, because what we will literally be doing is I literally went through our texts today between me and Turner, and I was like, okay, what did we talk about over the last week or two? Okay, that would be a good thing to talk about. Okay, that would be a good thing to talk about. And we are quite literally bringing our text message thread to a live discussion saying, how can we still learn at all levels here? So before we get on to our first text message of the day, that is going to be, is LeBron a good investment right now? Let's go on to our first commercial. And I'll give you a little small teaser. I would say he is.
What's up, everyone? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. Why should you subscribe to NoOffSeason.com's premium membership? Do you like the content on this show? Want more? Well, a free 30-day trial membership at NoOffSeason.com gives you a Friday edition of the Sports Card Strategy Show called The Overflow Show. It's a premium podcast for members only every Friday, and you can ask an unlimited amount of questions to build your sports card investment portfolio, and I answer them for you. I put in the work, research, and do the analysis, give you the best possible answer so you can increase your chances of making money flipping sports cards. And if that's not enough reason to sign up for a free 30-day trial today, you get Sports Card School, tons of premium members-only articles, and our new formula-based sports card rankings to help you find the cards with the best ROI to make money in the hobby. Sign up today at NoOffSeason.com.
Let's go. So Paul pumping NoOffSeason.com there. Big supporter of what he's doing, not only with the formula, but also continuing to put his head down and make just the best content for our demographic and what we're trying to do. So I appreciate you guys. Krim goes ahead and says, I have a bag next to me as well. So clearly we are sponsored by Nerds. So who makes this? Well, I thought it would be easy to find.
I think
whoever makes this candy, maybe it's just Nerds.
Yeah.
Nerdscandy.com is what it says on the back. Anyway, Nerds, reach out to us.
Please.
Would love a nerd sponsorship for this show. I mean, we kind of are nerds. That makes sense. It makes sense. So we are nerds eating nerds here at Lefty McKee or Lefty Cards. And so before the commercial break, we teased. You had texted me, is LeBron a good investment right now? And I want to go ahead and talk about, I want to give you a little bit of props here, Turner. So over the next couple of weeks / months, you will see a lot of our content that's going to leftycards.com. Written, for instance, is going to come from Turner himself. I have said, like, hey, do you have any want to write at all? And he's like, you know what, that'd be kind of fun. So we're going to do video recap articles. We're going to do different articles from time to time. And Turner actually has turned this discussion topic into an article that we'll be posting later on tonight. But we really wanted to talk about, is LeBron a good investment right now? Let me ask Turner, when you brought this up, what were some markers that you were seeing? Like, I could talk about the markers I'm seeing, but it's valuable for the audience member to say, okay, what's Turner seeing in LeBron's portfolio or his status that makes him a good investment right now? And some of them are obvious, but go ahead and say them.
Yeah, there are a couple that you can like point out right away. One of them is, of course, Bronny. And with Bronny staying in the draft, wherever he goes, LeBron is going to go with him. He wants to play with Bronny. And so with that, LeBron's
That's been confirmed, right?
Yeah. LeBron's talking about it a lot, but Bronny's kind of like that guy that's like, I'm not going to be my dad the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is interesting in itself. But yeah, wherever Bronny gets drafted, LeBron's going to probably want to go there. And that goes into my second point of LeBron can be a free agent this year. And with that, he can sign wherever he wants. And wherever he wants, he's going to be with Bronny. And so that's another huge marker right there. So first two is just joining Bronny and combined into one with that. And the last one being LeBron's years are limited. And of course, whenever a huge player like LeBron retires, there are going to be card prices that go up. And you see that with like the most recent one that we can think of is Tom Brady. Tom Brady's cards went up a little bit whenever he retired. And so I think a big marker that you can anticipate happening in probably next like 2 to 3 years to even maybe 4 to 5, depending on how much longer LeBron goes. Because LeBron averaged still like 23, 24 points. It's not like he's slowing down, but it's just like the want to play basketball more and more, which he's played basketball more than I've been alive, just to put that in perspective. So, yeah, with that marker, just to sum that one up, is just LeBron retiring. Once Bronny gets in the NBA and maybe solidifies himself, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I think LeBron is a fun topic to talk about, especially because we've got buckets of data. I mean, you said that he's been playing longer than you've been alive, which is incredible to me because I remember when he was drafted. So that makes me feel super old. But in that 2023 draft or 2003 draft was just iconic in my brain. And I think I was 11 years old. So it was like the first time I think that I was really paying attention to like, these dudes are dope. You know, like I was as an 11-year-old, you're like, okay, cool. And I think if I remember correctly, I think I sat down and this was the first draft I ever watched because I remember Carmelo Anthony getting drafted because I remember that he had won with Syracuse. And so I was like, okay, that guy's pretty cool. And this LeBron guy is who they're all talking about, you know? And so it's just cool for them to both get drafted. Iconic draft, even now, still that 2003 draft, that first round has got some names in it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But so in terms of investing in LeBron, you're completely correct on a lot of things. I think another thing that I have brought up on other shows is I expect for LeBron to not only retire, but be a GM very quickly with the NBA as well. I believe that whatever role he decides to play in this Las Vegas or Seattle team, probably Las Vegas for him, it seems like the NBA is ready for the marriage of LeBron, the GM, and the NBA, you know? And so I really honestly thought they would have this all ironed out before Bronny got to here. because I thought Bronny's first draft pick would be Bronny, and Bron would do a GM player role, which would be incredible to even think about. Like, we've had player coaches. I don't ever remember thinking there being a GM coach or a
They
GM.
already say it for LeBron. They call him the GM all the time.
Yeah. So it's already there. It's already written in the stars. You know, I guess the NBA is just not ready to make that push yet. And then also I think maybe with Las Vegas trying to figure out the A's situation, then they're trying to figure that out before they tackle an NBA team. Maybe it's, you know, obviously there's a lot of talks that are going to happen for a franchise of a major league team to enter a massive city. You know, there's land being bought, all this kind of stuff. LeBron has the money. That's not the problem. The GM or the NBA already made a bylaw ratification difference where an active player can actually own shares or a share of an NBA team. So they've changed the rules around that. Pretty much the LeBron rule, if you ask me. You know, they're expecting that.
I think Michael Jordan did that with the Wizards.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like, you know, there's all this stuff happening that you're like, okay, if we're thinking in our age, the guy that would have this capability, you know, you could have seen Kobe doing that. And I think Kobe would have ownership. He was already starting brands and stuff if he was still with us. But then we have LeBron making some really cool business decisions, and I think his market is going to continue to grow. So when Turner asks me this, I'm like, generally, and I believe you asked me this right after the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it was right after they lost.
And Bronny hadn't announced that he was full on NBA yet. He was kind of flirting with the transfer portal, I think, and had worked out, you know, or had committed to the combine, but maybe not done the combine yet. That was kind of where it was when we started this conversation. And I still was like, absolutely. I think, you know, like the Lakers pulled his value down pretty much all season, you know, after the in-season tournament, you know, it spiked there. And I said to one of my buddies, I said, I think the in-season tournament is the NBA finals for this Lakers team, because they know that they want to have something for LeBron to come back to, but they know they're not deep enough to stay healthy the entire season. And you had the LeBron worry, you had the Anthony Davis worry, all that kind of stuff. And so at the time I was like, this is the NBA finals for the Lakers, and we won't see them in the playoffs. And, you know, like it all played out like it, you know, like it did. So, but when we look at, I think what's interesting here is yes, we can say that LeBron is a good investment, but then you look up some of the data here. And this is the market pulse. So basically the index of all, I think it's all it's the top 44 cards in circulation of LeBron. And it's like, you know, there's three, if we show all of them here, you know, it's all sorts of different cards. We've got the bazooka that I think me and you talked about at one point, this 2003 bazooka 15. You've got, you know, round ball Fleer Ultra round ball discs. You've got several different bazooka cards up here. You've got the gold Fleer, or you've got the gold Topps card. You've got the Bowman cards. You've got the awful white suit, crappy looking hat picture of LeBron. You've got just what is going on here. The only thing worse than this was Melo's suit that night. You know, like you've got it's a wide variety of these 44 cards. And obviously these aren't the top of the line LeBron cards either. These aren't autographs. These aren't jerseys. These are, you know, this one's a 3D special, you know, but these are the cards that are relatively and commonly circulated. I mean, if we look at what is it? This one right here. This is the PSA 10 of the Topps 221, which has a pop count of almost 2,500 cards, and it's currently down almost $100 and a 5% depreciation from probably the last 30 days. And so, you know, this card averages at 1.4K. You know, so if you're gonna look to sell this card, you'd be wanting to get at least. You'd probably want to be getting in on it around $1,000, and you want to sell it around $1,500 because of fees and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, LeBron is an option. There's so many cards is the problem. And I think that's the article that Turner is going to put out over the next day or two is going to give some suggestions on some moves you could potentially make. And then we cannot talk LeBron without talking about Bronny, and we already have. But Bronny's cards, I think, are easier right now to determine what's a good investment and what's not, because there's not as many of them. And there was when Bronny came up, there was a clear, this is the card manufacturer that good cards are coming through. I mean, you've got Bazooka, Fleer, whatever this one is, Topps Pristine, Topps Bowman. You've got what is this? Another Fleer, E-Tops, Flair cards, which like Victory Upper Deck. Like you've got all this stuff for LeBron. You will have less of those for Bronny, because even if we're sitting here, you can think, I mean, Turner, what you can think in your head, which Bronny cards are out there right now?
Right. The Bowman U is the automatic one that I think about.
Yeah, and then I mean he does have some
Topps now.
Some Bowman now and Topps now options as well. But yeah, that Bowman U and the McDonald's All-American one are the ones that are circulated the most. So yes, I think we've got to be conscious of which LeBron cards we're looking at. My favorite one, or I think the most iconic one, is this Draft Picks 2021 with the white suit and he's holding the jersey. I think if you can invest somewhere in that card, maybe not like for a guy like LeBron, I mean, excuse me, for a guy like Turner, the PSA 10 is not something that is obtainable. I mean, even the PSA 1 last sold at $200, which would probably be, like that's insane in general. Because a PSA 1 selling for $200, for the meme of it, I think it sold at $200, because if you look at a PSA 2, it sold for $58. So, it's actually cheaper sometimes to get into the 2 than the 1, because sometimes the 1s are so memeable. It's crazy. But if you look at the raw data on this thing too, like the raw data on this card, which you got to be careful because this is in the reprint action. The last one sold here at 232 cards or $232. So maybe this is not the card for people, but I think those Bazooka cards are a fun investment. If you look at last sold raw on this Bazooka card, the Bazooka 276, I mean, you're at $70. That's around the price you're paying for some of your bigger cards, right?
Yeah.
So an $80 raw card is obtainable. And there are these Bazooka cards. They're kind of fun. And then just the Bazooka Comics cards are fun too. And then some of the Upper Deck cards are cheaper as well. So that's where I would go with that. Turner, do you have anything to add on the LeBron cards that you're interested in?
No, I mean, you pretty much covered it. I definitely think that like the normal investment would be that Topps one that you talked about, the Topps draft pick. But if you don't have a whole lot of breathing room or spending, I think the Bazooka is the play. But
yeah, I think if you're wanting to go like a little step further, like between the $100 and $200 range, I really like the 2003 Fleer Tradition trio with Carmelo, Anthony, and Wade. Or Carmelo, Anthony, Wade, and LeBron together. That 3-piece card, that I'm bringing up on the computer here now with the trio rookie Fleer Tradition. That's, I think, a card that if you want to stretch between $100 and $200, that LeBron card is really fun to own. And then, of course, the LeBron Bowman is pretty cool too. So, Chad says tons of great investable LeBron rookie cards right now. Bazooka cards are cool. So, thanks, Chad. All right, so let's jump to a commercial, and then we'll jump back into the next question that he has.
Kendall, are these people ready to start grading their sports cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today.
Thank you, Paul. CGC, great slabs we've got there, crystal clear. Good for personal investments and any cards that are super low. And I believe they are going to push into being a good competitor in the future. We'll just see how all that plays out. PSA is obviously king. But in terms of the next question, I'll let Turner ask this next question here. So you texted me what?
I said, do you think that Davison De Los Santos gets the call-up this year?
So Davison De Los Santos is a player that we've been talking about quite a bit. And as we've talked about him, I've noticed that he's circulating way more frequently, I guess, than I expected. Because I see him on almost every on almost every Facebook page, on everything. And I think maybe it's just because I started talking about him and our phones are listening to us and they're like, you want this Davison card? And I do. I bought $650 worth of Davison De Los Santos the other day, where I got, multiple of his grades. I got some of his autos. I got, different parallels. I got some of his a lava refractor, a lunar, a purple, green. So I believe in this guy, and I even went out and got a good bunch of raw cards from the Lexington show and ended up sitting them in for grading as well. But Davison De Los Santos here is a guy that I do believe in, and I think he's a guy that we are going to see at the next level quickly, maybe. And that's what I'm necessarily afraid of when it comes to, is he going to get the call up this year, which is your ultimate question. So let me pull this up on the data. For some reason, it still thinks I want to talk about LeBron. So if we add to the stage here, this is Davison De Los Santos cards over the last 30 days. We've seen a couple of different spikes, and then his PSA 10s right now, or his raws right now, are selling for around $52. The average of the last 30 days has been about $45. I've been able to get a lot of them for around $30. And then I think there's some good options even in the PSA 10s when you're seeing these are only at 137 averaged over the last 30 days. You could probably get down to 130, 125 on some people, like especially if they are seeing the profit over the last 90 days. And if they've probably had them for a while, they probably bought in super low or pulled it and graded it. So they have enough profit to go from 137 down to 120, 125. Try to get as good of a deal as you can, obviously, with this base auto. But this is what we're necessarily looking for. A base auto that is of a guy that we think is going to be a really good major leaguer with the precedent that it's still around $50. That's very obtainable for an investable ball player, especially when you look at some guys like, let's put it next to Kobe Mayo right now, just for laughs. If we look at Kobe Mayo's raw auto, his is at 105. So you're looking at double the price for Kobe Mayo. And then if we put Drew Jones in here as well, who's on the same team as De Los Santos, if you put his raw autos in here, they're at $170. So, which is bananas that you can pay $170 for a Drew Jones and $100 for a Kobe Mayo. Do the right thing and buy a Kobe Mayo, or do the better thing and buy 3 Davison De Los Santos cards for the same money that you could buy Drew Jones for. Drew Jones isn't looking terrible right now, but still, I would not want to pay the last comp of $170 for it. Of course, the one bought right before that was 126. So, maybe some of this data is a little fudged, but as you see these, if you guys are watching with us on YouTube, these charts, you're seeing 3 different levels of investable raw autos. And so Davison De Los Santos is around the $50 line. Now, back to Turner's original question. Do you think De Los Santos gets called up this year? My response in the thread was probably, but I hope he makes the top 100 update before that. The Tops 100 update comes around mid-season. And justbaseball.com, I believe, maybe just put theirs out. They usually do one on June 1st. So maybe it's right around now. De Los Santos, if he gets on some of those lists, I think we'll see his prices start to climb into around the $100 mark. I think we could see some prices around Kobe Mayo raw autos when he was climbing over the last 180 days. So when we look at Kobe Mayo, it took him a while to get over that $100 mark, or it took, let's see, until April of this year to get over $100 raw. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's the $130 line. His first one was $99.99 in January of 24. So I think we could see something like that for De Los Santos as he climbs into the majors. And his grades are coming out at a 9, 10 pretty consistently. A lot of 9s out there. But if you can get a 10, this is going to pop up and it's going to run you much better number as well. So yes, I do think he gets the call up. Yes, I do think there's time to get in because he is in AAA. So he is one step away from the majors. But he's got Christian Walker above him in the majors. And unless something happens to Christian Walker, I don't expect them to just pull him up right away. He still is younger. He gets the call up before the end of the year. But I think he will probably be an August call up if I had to guess, unless there's an injury. And with that, you can never determine that. So what do you think about this, Turner?
Loving these graphs right now. I mean, I'm just taking in as much as I can, just like the internal ways. I will definitely. I haven't pulled the trigger on one yet, but I'm probably gonna start doing my own research. Like we talk about a bunch, try to narrow down some good De Los Santos autos. His auto looks kind of ferocious.
Oh, dude, it's horrific, dude.
It's
like this card is like all of them look like this.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah,
the ones I have here are. Let me see. Let's pull the camera down. These are the ones I have. That one's actually not bad. Maybe one of his better ones. Then you got this one. The purple auto is like all everywhere. Then this green one, it's totally in the. It's like totally in the border. Like he's just. What is he doing? Was there no quality control here?
Focuses on the baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, like. He's just like, meh, meh. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to sign the autos on an airplane or something. And he's already a broad shouldered dude anyway.
He's in the car, it's like leaning in the side or something.
There you go. So Krim says first chrome auto or his pro debut with the Sod Poodles, because we grew up in Amarillo. The Sod Poodles are the Amarillo Sod Poodles. And so he does have Sod Poodles cards out there, which is pretty funny. But what a BA card, first off. I mean, he's shushing everyone. He's already like, I just wish the autos were centered, but what a cool card. So talk to me through this, Turner. In your buying process, so let's just say you find this card available for what's it at right now? Last sold was 46. Let's say you find this card available for 45. Don't say what I would tell you. What do you do?
Whenever I go on a listing like that, I look at the pictures of the card, and I'll zoom in and look like at the corners, the surface, and stuff like that, just to see like the quality of the card, because there are many listings that can be the $45 to $50 range, but the 10s are minimal compared to the whole thing. And so I look at the quality of the card before anything. And once I narrow down like a good quality of the card, or at least what looks good quality online, then if there is a make offer on it, I may try to get a couple dollars down. And I've done that before with SGC cards that I crack and resubmit. I've done it with PSA cards that I'm investing in. I've done it with raw cards. So I try to make an offer, see what kind of wiggle room I can mess with, and then go from there. And once I get the card, then I try to bundle it up and have like the bulk submission plays to PSA. And so I mean I'm about not low. I'm about done with my buying to the PSA submissions like we've talked about. So that would be a play that, like, if I can find a De Los Santos, I'd throw it in there with the bulk submission and get it graded.
Yeah. So when do you make the decision to buy an auto versus a first?
If the price is not like super significantly high, which
What
with
does that quantify as
so
for Turner?
right. So over this year, it's raised up a little bit because whenever I first started out, my first submission that I sent to you, I did a whole lot of like $1 to $5 Spencer Jones. I'm trying to think who else I had it now. I had some Roman Anthony's in there that I still have. I'm trying to think of the ones James Woods.
Yeah. You had
So
some James Woods and Xavier Isaacs.
Yeah, I did Xavier Isaac in like December.
Yeah,
I learned a little bit more, but with that, so and what I learned from those is, and I learned this even like with the 2023 Prism football. Whenever you get these lower end cards, like a lot of them are going to be not the best quality, and so then you have to turn around and you either still grade it and try to see if you can get a 9 or an 8, or you resell it on eBay and then just take the fee loss on. But that adds up. That fee adds up after a little bit, and not that I'm at a loss, but I would do that with my first Chrome with the $1 to $5, and it's just annoying whenever it comes in. There's a chipped corner from like an envelope because they're not going to have the nicest envelopes with a $1 to $5 card, and so sometimes the corners will chip or something like that, and then you have to turn around and take pictures and wait for it to sell. So with De Los Santos is a perfect example because, like we just saw, his autos are $45. So, and that's $45 is not a whole lot of money whenever it comes to sports card investing. And I've learned that, and you've learned that, and other people will learn that. And so, when determining an auto price, I'd say like that $40 to $100 range. At least that's mine. Is the one where I'm like, okay, I'll automatically like look at that compared to like first Chrome. Now
so you don't really go into the first Chrome option until the autograph is above $100 raw.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's like a hype aspect of it too, if that makes sense. Like if there's a whole lot of hype with the auto cards, then I'm gonna be like, there's a better play here, and there's more potential for more profit, even if I have to sell more cards with the first Chrome or first Mojo compared to the first autos. Because if you have 20 cards, for example, that you make a profit of $30 to $50 on, that's going to be better than making a profit of $100 on a auto. Is it going to be more work? Heck yes, it's going to be a whole lot more work, but it was worth it. And that's how I benefited off the James Wood and Spencer Jones plays, and that's how I'll benefit off the Roman Anthony. And even I have like an Ethan Salas card that have a PSA 10.
Sweet. So let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but what's the most expensive card you've bought?
I probably have a tie. One of them, embarrassingly, whenever I was first jumping in and stuff, I bought and I've showed you this picture, the PSA 10 World Cup Mbappe card.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought that basically in the hype. Whenever I thought I probably got it whenever they were in probably like the semifinal, and I was thinking that he's gonna win the World Cup and the card's gonna go up, and that card hasn't gone up since. But
have you checked it today?
I've not.
He signed with Real Madrid today, so
I didn't know if that was official yet. So
yeah,
I may try to get out of that pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean this is one of the best chances you have.
Right.
So the Mbappe card.
So and then one of them is, and I've told you this. I got a SGC 1010 Samuel Basallo
card
very recently. and not as much as the Mbappe card. Mbappe, I know I'm screwing it up. I'm a basketball guy, but I'm doing the best I can with that.
What did you pay for the Mbappe?
I think 260.
Wow.
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, but you tried though. Like you swung for it.
Yeah.
And there is, like I think what's commendable here is you swung for it and you're still here. What was that, a year ago?
Yeah, it's going probably a year and a half ago, something like that.
I mean, you spent
December.
250, 200 whatever bucks on a card and swung for it, and it's fallen from grace. I mean, I bought a Kai Havertz the same way. Like when we were first starting, I think, or when I first started getting back into investing, Kai Havertz won the FA Cup with Chelsea, and I bought it the night that they won. And I think I spent 260 or something like that on it, and the card's worth maybe $30 now. I still have it because it's a reminder for me of being like, you dummy, you got to keep doing stuff. But Matt Lane does say something good here, and hold Mbappe, especially if he wins the Euros. That is a good, and unless the card is going for good price right now, which I guess we could look. Which one is it? Mbappe?
The 2018 Prism World Cup.
Okay. And you have a PSA 10 of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was going for 150 last sold. So you're down $100 right now. But the one that sold right before that was $100. So, it's definitely, the Euros could be something that vaults his pricing. But one did sell for 176 this year, but it definitely hasn't even been close to that, to whatever. 260. I mean, it hasn't been that high since, let's see.
In that December point.
Bro, when did you buy this card?
It might have been 160 and I just screwed up on the price. But I can even scroll.
If you bought 260, then it hasn't been 260 since June of 2022. You probably paid 160 for it.
I probably did, and I can even look back. I'd have to scroll for a second.
Because 160 would be around 2023 September-ish. And then if you bought it earlier that's 160 range is really close to that.
Okay, I spent 220 on it. That's what.
Okay. So you definitely still were the high marker on it at the time. You were that's probably with taxes and fees and everything like that. But, if you're at 220 and it's currently last sold was, what was it?
150.
The 150 was the last sold. You might be able to make some money on this pretty soon, especially if what happens, what Matt's talking about here, where he wins the Euros. I mean, he wins the Euros and his Real Madrid hype will rise. His cards will sell themselves. You're not wrong here. National kit as well. It will creep up. So Matt, you've got a great point there. Matt's my guy. I actually just sent him a card yesterday and actually just got 2 cards in the mail from him today. Let's see, what did I get just showing off here? I got a Rajon Rondo rookie card, pretty sick, in his Kentucky jersey, and then I bought a chrome Bronny James. So there you go. So thank you, Matt. Love what you're doing over there. Okay, let's jump to the next question. We spent a good amount of time on the De Los Santos, and I think it's good for us to talk about. I think the most beneficial thing we heard out of that is underneath $100, you're looking for the auto. Over $100, you're looking to invest in potentially some Chrome 10s.
Yeah.
That is really, really solid data to just kind of have a mental goal that you're going for there. So. All right, so let's go to the next question. You said, if you haven't been paying attention, you texted me, if you haven't been paying attention, which I love. I love that because I was not paying attention. You said, if you haven't been paying attention because my life was crazy and I was traveling all over the world, the World Cup Messi cards you like are going for around $60, which is crazy. Messi 2014 is what we're talking about here. And this is a card that I have been talking about, for, better part of a year and a half now. We've been talking about it, and I talked about it when it was, in the 200 range. I talked about it when it was in the 100 range, and now we're, the last sold was actually 129 on this PSA 10, but then the ones before that are in the $60-$70 range, which I like. So I went out and bought some the other day at the Dallas show. I bought 2 Messi cards for under comps. And I'm still buying these. It's not like I'm not buying them, but I thought it was cool that you said, hey bud, don't know if you're noticing, your Messi cards are at between $60 and $65. What I like about this, Turner, is the sentiment that I heard when you told me was like, yo, these are around $60. I didn't feel the sentiment of like, your card investment call isn't working. What I got from you, which I'm sure is what you meant, is you were like, there is a great opportunity to still acquire more of these cards. 100%. And I know you went out and did just that. So talk about that.
Yeah. So honestly, I was at I think I was on break at work, something like that, just scrolling through, and because what I'd like to do, like with my eBay purchases, is I'll add them to the cart, and then once I will either get paid from work or get paid with eBay sales, then I'll go and buy whatever cards that I feel comfortable buying in that moment. So at the time, there was a Messi card in there for, I think the person had it for $150, and so I tried to look up comps, and I see the cheapest one is $65. And so I immediately removed the one that I had from the cart because it's almost $100 more. And I immediately hit buy it now.
On the cheaper one?
Yeah.
So you have it at your desk?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Package. I have 2 packages, so I need to.
Man, you ain't even opened the mail day yet?
No, I've been occupied all day.
Dang, bro. We're getting a mail day opening rip with TB24 right now.
I need to get something to cut it. I might.
Now this is what the people want right here. Just
I know. A mail day, perfect.
Mail day release with TB24. What will he pull out of this package?
Hopefully this is the one first try. Yes, it is.
Nice.
Here is my card.
There you go. Okay,
Sure.
This is a 2018 or 2018.
No, oh shoot, that's not that. 2018 is what I was looking at.
Okay. So the 2014 is what we've been talking about. But Turner, I literally did just buy a 2018 as well for $60. So I don't think you're in the wrong here by buying a different card. But that 2018 does look very similar to the 2014. And right now, I don't think you can actually make a bad investment with Messi because there's going to be so many selling markers with Messi over the next couple of years. I mean, his overall price, we talked about this last week with Krim. If we look at the index data for Messi, let's see. I wonder if they even have it in here. They don't have an index for Messi on Market Movers, which is hilarious. But they have one for LeBron James, Caitlin Clark, Kale Maker, which is funny. That they have Kale in here, but they don't, which is a hockey player, and they don't have a Messi index, but whatever. The 2018, let's go to this. Let's go to that data. 2018 Messi PSA 10.
That's not meant that I was looking at because
that's okay. I mean, they're around the same price. The last sold on this one was $75. And so these ones are 53, 60, 65, 60, 53, 50, so these are the good price range as well for this Messi card, because when we look at the all-time data on this card too, it has a history of going around 75 to $100 as well. So you can make some money if you got into it at $60. So there are 4 PSA 10s on eBay auction right now is what Chad says. So if you want to go get some more, Turner, you can go pop in there and get you some more Lionel Messi, which I don't think is a bad idea. I think right now Messi is one of the most underrated assets right now because of where he's at. This one is $5. I know it's probably 6 days away.
A raw? Or
Yeah. No, it's a PSA 10. It's on auction. But I'm going to put in a live PWCC bid for the people.
a pack opening and a auction bid on the
There
same
you go.
stuff.
I'm going to bid. Let's see. I'll put $50 down on this right now. Bang. Let's see.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'll explain also why I thought 2018 one was good. Is with Mike, I just said that I got the Mbappe card with 2018. The 2018 Prism World Cup is pretty hyped up with just like that set in general.
Yeah.
From what I've seen and stuff like that. So that's why I thought that the Messi would be a good one. It's just with that being a hyped up brand, and of course with it.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, he looks like a Viking in this photo. Like, pretty crazy photo of Messi. Like, pretty wild looking. But anyway, this card is not at $5 anymore, like it says on Market Movers. It is currently at $45, and you're gonna have to beat me to it. All right. Let's just jump to our next commercial, and then we'll come back.
Yo, Lefty, we use a lot of data, don't we? Well, I just want everyone to know that they can get the same data we get by signing up at marketmoversapp.com. Sign up at marketmoversapp.com today, but use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20% after a free 14-day trial. That's marketmoversapp.com, promo code NOOFFSEASON.
Yeah, Chad says, remember PWCC fees are for $50 closer to $60. I did see that, so I put it down to around a $40 auction. So good call. So text number 4, we are talking about the National. We're talking about, we've talked about a lot about you wanted to potentially come last year, didn't work out. Like we were like, what does that look like? You were doing some bunch of stuff with baseball or basketball, and you also were working. And so this year you were like, hey, I want to go to the National. And I said, this is how you're going to do it. How did you do it?
Emailed the man himself, Paul Hickey. We got back and forth, and I was just like, hey, I'll do whatever need me to, and I would love to come and be a part of the NoOffSeason.com family, sports card strategy family. And Paul was just like, yeah, well, I'll be in contact with you. And then, yeah, just like that, I'm gonna be like the actual intern at the National, and I'm pretty excited about it. Just be around everybody and take in. My goal is to take in everything there and just like see, because there's gonna be a bunch of people there that I've seen on my screen. And there's going to be a bunch of cards that I've seen that have also been on my screen. But yeah, just take in everything to see how everything works. And,
yeah. Have you ever been to a live card show that wasn't Lexington?
Nope.
Ooh, baby, you are in for a surprise, Turner.
Yeah.
You're going to walk into that room and you're going to be like, Kendall, you're going to have to give me a minute. Turner's just going to pass out. He's going to be like, I didn't realize there was this many cards that they could be all in one place.
The only thing that was similar that I went to was they're still pretty big, but they used to be a lot bigger. It's called SneakerCon.
Yes, I was going to say, was it SneakerCon?
Yeah, I went to the Memphis one whenever I was in like 8th grade or something like that. It was kind of like that where it's a big convention center, so that part's not going to overwhelm me as much as just people. But yeah, with the amount of like money that people put into shoes is unbelievable, and of course with cards it'll be the same way. But seeing like the Back to the Future shoes for $20,000 or however much it was, like.
Yeah, I remember my first National. I walked up to PWCC's like little thing, and they had the PSA 10 Mickey Mantle that was on auction that week, and it ended up selling for millions of dollars or something. And I was like looking at it like I was face to face with Mickey Mantle, not the real Mickey Mantle. That'd be pretty wild. because he'd be dead and I'd be face to face with a cadaver. But it was the 1952 Mickey Mantle PSA 10. So I'm excited for you to go. I'm excited for us to be there together. I'm excited for, like just the trip. I think the trip, like me and you, practically we're driving together probably. And so it'll be a good time for us to spend a good amount of time together. It'll be a good time for you to make a lot of card plays. What I would say is free up some bankroll before you go. That's all. I'll just leave it at that, because it is going to be a heck of a week where you're just going to see as many cards as you've ever seen in your life, and you're going to want all of them. So there's cards that you're going to be like, I'll buy that, and then like 2 booths later, you're like, crap, I could have gotten a better deal right here. So it's definitely a learning experience. It's really fun. This will be my 5th one, I believe. So pretty cool. And I'm glad that we get to do that together. But the point I wanted to say is he took a step of boldness and emailed a guy and said, hey, don't care what I need to do. I'll go for free, whatever. Don't have to pay me. I just want to be there. I want to learn. I want to be involved at the event. I want to be able to do that. So seriously, this kind of stuff really does happen. And not everybody's going to treat you with the kindness and compassion as like me or Paul would be treating an intern. Sometimes you're going to be doing the dirty work, but there is these opportunities out there for you just to get in the room, and getting in the room is important. I literally shook hands with Derek Jeter last year at this thing. So that's not a room that Turner's ever been in before, where he could shake a hand with Derek Jeter. So, yeah, proud of you, man. I'm looking forward to what we're going to go through. And then our last segment, right as we're hitting the hour mark, our last segment here is Turner's question of the week, where I want to have him ask me a question that I'm not prepared for. I have no concept of where he's going to go with this, and I'm answering it live. And it's part of the bit of saying, like, yes, we talk back and forth a lot, but then as it comes to the show, we've got graphs and we've got a strategy, and we've kind of picked what we want to talk about. But for this, Turner's just like, hey, this is a question I have. So, and it's like, this will be relatively normal for us, for me and Turner, because we do this all the time, but it'll be cool for a content perspective, because you'll see me solve the problem live potentially, or give my live opinion and have no concept of where it's going to go. So let's go to commercial break. And then as we come back, Turner will ask the question of the week.
Lefty, we say that breaking is not necessarily a sports card strategy, but there's a lot of great things going on Whatnot other than breaking. They now have singles auctions and an improved overall experience on their platform. I want everyone to know that they can get $15 free on Whatnot by joining Whatnot through this URL. Go to whatnot.sportscardstrategy.com. That's whatnot.sportscardstrategy.com. Lefty, back to you.
All right. So we've talked about Whatnot just now. Thanks for another good commercial break from Paul Hickey. But let's hear it. So Turner's question of the week is,
so when it comes in terms of prospecting, do you have a limit on how many prospects that you put your money into, or do you just keep if you see a prospect you like, you put money into?
Oh man, good question, man, because this is honestly something that has changed over time for me. There have been, in prospecting, are you referring strictly to baseball?
Yeah.
Okay. So in baseball prospecting, how much do I diversify my portfolio is what you're asking?
Yeah. Like, do you do a bunch of prospects? Do you like narrow it down?
So this has changed a lot over the period of me learning how to do this. At one point, I was putting all of my eggs in one basket. I remember, like, when Jared Kelenic was still a prospect with the Mariners, I pushed all of my chips into making sure Jared Kelenic's cards were in my portfolio. And then I didn't even sell them at the time where he got called up. So this was like before we had basically a strategy of selling at the call up, and before we did all the work with Paul and with Chad and with Connor and all them on having a strategy. This was before we had a baseball card ranking on nooffseason.com. This was just before all that. I pushed all my chips into the Jared Kelenic pool, and I said, this is my guy that's going to make me a millionaire, and like that's where I'm going to go. Then I swung the other way too, where I was doing a bunch of bulk submission plays that Chad and I were talking about at the time, where I was basically buying, and he was doing the same thing, where we were buying Chrome first prospects of the top 10 to 15 different guys on our list. Like at that point we had a baseball card ranking, and so we were just going down the list and getting 10 to 15 or 20 of each of these players and making bulk submissions, preparing for their call up. But at the time, we hadn't really determined where they were in terms of their proximity to the major leagues. And so there was like I think we had Jackson Churio, up there. I think we had Jackson Holiday up there. I think we had Xavier Isaac and Roman Anthony all up there kind of together. Well, Roman Anthony and Xavier Isaac have a much longer runway than Jackson Holiday and Jackson Churio did. And so like now we're living, post call up for both Jacksons, and we've seen how that's kind of played out. But Roman Anthony and Xavier Isaac aren't there yet. And so there's also an atmosphere of like continuing to evolve your strategy. So, I mean, if we look at right now, if we look at the sports card, the baseball card rankings on the nooffseason.com, we look at obviously De Los Santos. We've been talking about him a lot. He's number one for us. Walker Jenkins, Dylan Cruz, Basallo, Ohtani, because of how he's not a prospect, but because of who he is. Drew Jones, Ethan Salas, Bryce Eldridge, Paul Skeens. And this is all based on data now. We're not just going off of, just random feel like we were previously. Like Bryce Eldridge probably wouldn't have been in our prospecting list had he not been for data that backed this up. We've got Max Clark down here, then Junior Camanero's even further down. Jordan Walker, I would not invest in him at all right now. I just don't really believe in that profile anymore. And then at the bottom, we got here James Wood. So what I'm doing here and what I currently do is I buy pretty heavily into about 5 guys. So right now, the guys I'm buying are De Los Santos. I am buying who else am I buying? De Los Santos.
Carson Williams a little bit.
Yeah, I am buying Carson Williams. That's true. I am buying I'm waiting for the hype of Walker Jenkins cards to blow over after this most recent release. I'm buying Sebastian Walcott because I like his profile. I like his, and he's a Ranger, so that's just kind of personal to me. And then I'm buying James Wood still because I just believe that he's going to be back. And I'm actually also toying around the idea of rebuying into Jackson Holiday and rebuying into Wyatt Langford because of they did not come to the scene like they were supposed to. So I haven't necessarily pulled the trigger there, and Wyatt Langford's back in the majors, so maybe it's Jackson Holiday only for me right now. But Chad says diversify, my friend. You like it, you buy it. Yeah, it's kind of that way. Like if you feel a conviction play on a guy, for instance, I made a TikTok about De Los Santos, a year and a half ago. And I was convicted that he was going to be a good player that you shouldn't be overlooking in your chase. If you're chasing Drew Jones and you get De Los Santos, don't get rid of him. And so that was something that I kind of believed in, and now it's in. And now I really believe in it. Basallo, I have a bunch of his cards as well. I'm out on Drew Jones. I do have a little bit of Paul Skeens. I like Ethan Salas. I have some of his too. Let's see. Yeah, and then James Wood. So, and then the guys that aren't on here for me are Carson Williams and Sebastian Walcott. So that's where I'm currently at. How's that hit you?
It's a lot of good info. Everybody needs to go back and listen to all those names you said. And I'll definitely do the same whenever I'm doing the recap. But yeah, like I've said before, and I'm giving you free gas right now, I listen to your plays a lot with baseball because you know what you're talking about, and I've made money off it. And I think that a lot of people need to do that. And I'm not like putting pressure on you because I have money to do basically what I want. And I of course believe in stuff just because there's data behind it. It's not just, oh, I believe this player is good because he looks good, he hits the ball well, and he showboats or something like that. Now you have data to back up your points and stuff like that. And so that's why I believe in a good amount of plays and stuff like that. And so I think that everyone that listens to this needs to like take notes basically. And I've taken notes before. Just go back and listen because it's not as valuable stuff.
I appreciate that, my man. And on the point of Carson Williams, this is a guy I'm really hot on right now. I bought an auto for his at a live show the other day. The guy had it listed for $65, and the last sale price at the time was $92. And he had it mislisted at $65, a raw auto. It wasn't like, I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't look horrible, you know. And it's at 65. And I said, hey man, how confident are you in this price? And he, you know, not knowing that it was $30 over where it should be, you know, and because the last sold before that was at like 70. So he didn't see that it popped up like $20. And I was like, hey, how firm are you on this 65? And he's like, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, how about $50? And he was like, you know what? That sounds good. I've done a lot of deals with you in the past. And that was literally 2 weeks ago. And the last sold on this Carson Williams card was $133. So this card is almost triple what I bought it for in the last, week and a half. So pretty crazy. There are deals to be had at shows. And Carson Williams is a guy that I am really high on. So he's killing the minor leagues. Also Krim's guy right now is hot. Yeah, Emmanuel Rodriguez definitely is hot. K rate's high, but also walk rate is incredibly high. A lot of people talk about Emmanuel Rodriguez and how he's going to be one of the best center fielders. So Emmanuel Rodriguez is another guy. I don't have any of his cards, but he's very good. All right, Turner. That goes another Interner episode in the books. I appreciate you, my man. I am going to, for some reason, it is hot as crap in this room. So I'm going to open this door and maybe turn a fan on. But I'll see you soon, my brother.
Lefty, great work on today's show. Thanks for supporting Lefty Cards, part of the nooffseason.com sports card network. Get a free 30-day trial today at nooffseason.com to check out our formula-based sports card rankings to help you make money flipping sports cards. Subscribe to Lefty Cards on YouTube and follow us on socials by visiting leftycards.com.